A frequently asked question is how much money does one need to start a nursing agency? The answer I always give is that it depends, but $5,000 to $20,000 is what one should expect in startup cost. For those of you who are satisfied with my short, quick answer, do me a favor. Like this video and subscribe to the channel so you get more information just like this. For those of you who want to go a bit deeper to understand the details of starting cost, stay tuned because we're going to be covering that. Our consulting firm, Passive Workhorse, was started to help healthcare entrepreneurs start, grow, and sell companies. We cover all the things I wish that I knew along my own journey of building an 8-figure company of my own. Since we do work with a range of clients, I always get asked, how much do I need to start? The question is too vague, and here's why. Your startup costs are going to vary really based on who you are as a person. If you're the type of person who can function very lean because you have graphic design skills, you are naturally able to connect the dots without really needing much information, you might be able to go through the internet, watch videos like this and some of the other videos that we put up, and figure out exactly what you need to do to get started, create your company, get your tax ID number, just getting through the basics. You could do that all on your own and make it happen for very little money. For example, when we started our staffing agency back in 1996, we started with $5,000. Granted, $5,000 in 1996 is probably equivalent to about $15,000 today, but it was $5,000 at that time, and that gave us enough money to create our entity and to have just a little bit of money to pay for things like our first payroll. And it really wasn't that much money to get started. However, it was enough for us to get started. So if you start out that lean, it's totally possible. But for most people who need a little bit of help, whether they're going to be going to attorneys, accountants, working with consultation firms like ours, you're going to spend a little bit more money because you're going to be paying for those professional services, and you're going to be working with website builders that are going to build your website for you. So those fees just to get started, to create your brand identity, to get the right advice is going to cost you. Also, the state that you're in is going to dictate how much things are going to cost. For example, there's states that have very low costs to create an LLC, and there's other states that have costs closer to $2,000 just to create your entity. So there's a wide range of variables depending on where you are that are going to drive what your startup costs are going to be. Also, in some states, you're going to find that there's a licensure requirement. Most states don't have a licensure requirement for starting a nursing pool or a staffing firm, but some states do, and that's going to drive your costs up just a bit because you may have to work with somebody to draft policies for you, or you're going to have to pay some sort of licensure fee, and those things are going to add up. Also, in some of those license-bearing states, they may mandate that you have an office space while you're going through the licensure process. So again, that might add a little bit to your cost because now you have to rent out an office, furnish that office, get a phone line in place, all the things that the state requires to legitimize that business and get through your licensure surveys or your licensure process. The basic startup amount is what I quoted before, but the cost to start your agency will vary substantially based on how you choose to start and your plans to grow. The type of agency that you decide to become is really going to shape, again, how much things are going to cost you. If you're looking at just the raw cost of $5,000 to $20,000 to get started based on consultants, etc., what happens if you decide that you want to open multiple offices within your state? For example, let's just say you're in California and you think it's a good idea to start out with an office in the major cities, San Diego, LA, San Francisco, Sacramento, and you decided that we're going to take this multi-city approach just to benefit from having exposure to different people, different facilities, being embedded in those communities. You potentially could grow at 4 times the speed because you're focused on 4 different markets. If you decided to do that, your startup cost might be closer to $100,000 or even more because you're going to need to set up locations in multiple cities, hire the personnel that are going to go out there and petition for your contracts. You're going to need to hire recruitment staff that is going to work on onboarding the employees that you plan on placing. And you might need to have clerical staff that are just assisting with the day-to-day. To fund that requires more capital. So again, if you're starting as a one-person show, then you're going to need less money. If you're starting at home because your state doesn't have a license and you could work from home, or you're getting a virtual office so that it's even, it's reasonable that you don't have people coming to your house, then your startup costs are going to be on the softer side. But if you have a more grand plan where you're looking to approach a multi-city sort of expansion from day one, or even starting a multi-state where you might be in California or New York, those are two very high-paying markets and high-volume markets, you may drive your cost up because of that. So there's a lot that goes into your startup costs. But again, what you have to really look at is yourself. What type of person are you? Are you somebody who's going to start out simple and do most of the things yourself? Are you the type of person who likes to have guidance and structure? Or are you the type of person who thinks really big from day one and attacks things in an aggressive startup fashion, where you're going into something with great uncertainty, high stakes, spending a lot of money to do so, either make it big or bust within a year's time? That really depends on your personality. So again, you have to take all those things into consideration when you're thinking about how much is it going to cost you. Now that you have a better understanding of how much it will cost you to start up, it's up to you to decide what kind of agency you'll be. You can start as a humble agency and progressively grow, or start as an ambitious company with a multi-city plan of attack. Either way, our team at Passive Workhorse is here to help you on your entrepreneurial journey and help you get where you want to be. Feel free to book a consultation call on our website, passiveworkforce.com, to talk through your unique situation. Until the next one, take care.